things that prevents businesses from becoming something you can retire from down the road is attrition. Because the average business is losing 50% of its clients every 3 years. That's why lead gen is so important. No matter what business that you're in, you have to constantly be out there refilling that funnel with new customers, right? So here's the interesting thing about that is that Forbes actually says that a 5% increase in client retention can increase your profitability by 75%. And the reason for that is that it's 5 times more expensive to go find a new client than it is to retain a client that you already have. It's so much easier to just reach back out to someone you've done business before and get them to buy again than it is to reach out to somebody you don't know and build a new relationship. That makes sense, doesn't it? So what I'm in the business of is client retention, not necessarily edge retention. See, technically I run 2 businesses. The first business I run is I'm the Cutco knife guy. I sell knives to people because I love the product. People who buy the product love the product. They have it forever. I meet people all the time that have had Cutco for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and they absolutely love it. And just for fun, if you've never experienced Cutco, we're going to do a quick demonstration of how the Cutco edge works. So when I'm working at a show and we have a booth, we'll usually pull out a piece of leather for somebody who's never experienced Cutco before. We pull out a piece of leather and then we pull out just a random Walmart knife, this is representative of what most people have in their drawer at home, right? So who's going to be my volunteer to cut up some leather? Come on up, Megan.
I want to cut something.
All right. I'm going to stand back a little bit. Okay, so here's
That's
what
what
I'm
you
going
said
to do.
once you
Hold
get
that really,
divorced.
really firmly right there.
Okay.
And I'll do the back and forth part.
Okay.
Right? So we'll actually, I know. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to kind of go back and forth. And what do you notice about the way that knife cuts? What does it do?
It was jagged.
Yeah, it rips, it tears, it doesn't really make a clean cut,
Yeah.
right? So what we're going to do, here, I'll take that back from you.
Aw.
Thank you. So don't worry, I'm going to give you something a lot more fun.
Okay.
Those are our shears. One of these here. Okay. So this is, oh, interesting. This is our Cutco spatula spreader, all right?
Okay.
Now this has the edge just like all the other knives that Cutco makes, all
Okay.
right? It looks a lot like the edge you just cut with, doesn't it? Right? It has teeth, right?
Mhm.
So you would expect it to do what?
Not the same.
Kind of rip and tear, right? What we're gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead and, look at that. You see how quickly that cut
That's
through?
ridiculous.
All right. And I'm doubling that up, but it goes through just as quick. You see that?
Yeah.
Now what you'll notice is that it actually made a clean cut, right? And the teeth are actually there to protect the edges. The edges are in between the teeth. See, the difference is most serrated edge knives rip and tear. Thank you. You can head back to your seat. Most serrated. Let's give her a round of applause. Right? So most serrated edge knives rip and tear. They don't make a clean cut, and so that's why they go dull so quickly. Once those teeth wear down, there's nothing left to cut with, right? So because Cutco is sharp in between the teeth protect the edges, therefore stay sharp a very long time. But the best part about Cutco is not the edge and how well it cuts, it's actually how long it's going to cut because it's guaranteed forever. Because most knives, you use them up, you throw them away, you go buy new ones, right? Or you keep them in the drawer, and then you end up with that drawer full of knives that, 10 years down the road you look in and you don't want to use any of them because they're all dull, right? So when you ask anybody who owns Cutco, how do you like your Cutco, they love it, and that's because it's 100% American made, and if anything ever happens to that product, you can send it back to the factory and the company's going to fix it or replace it for free. So I have literally gotten my hands on 60-year-old Cutco, sent it back to the factory, the company polished it, sharpened it, and sent it back like brand new, except for the 2 that they just replaced. So they just sent back brand new knives for the ones that I sent back. And so that's the reason why when people say, man, people really love their Cutco, it's weird, it's because of the customer service, right? It's because of the client retention that comes because of the customer service. See, one of the things that we do at Cutco that they don't do anywhere else is that we'll actually come to a customer's house and sharpen their knives right there in their kitchen. Now, how many companies do you know where they'll do something like that for their clients? So what that does is that gives me an excuse every single year to reach out to my clients and give them a value-added touch and say, hey, Heather, you bought your knives from me a year ago. I just want to make sure they're in good shape. If they're not, I'm going to be in your neighborhood. Let me come by and sharpen them up for you, right? I'm not asking Heather for anything. except I just want the opportunity to serve her. Now, when you sell a product like that, but then you give service like this, how hard do you think it is to get them to buy more of that product?
Not
See,
very
chances are they didn't buy everything they wanted on the first visit.
Right.
So what happens is I'll walk in to a customer's home and do a presentation, or they'll come to me at the booth and they'll look at a presentation, and I will start out by showing them our $3,000 set of knives, right? How many people do you think actually say, great, give me 2 of them, right? That doesn't happen. How many people do you think look at that and go, that would be really nice to have someday, right? People love that idea. So what we end up doing is we end up dropping down to the point where they're comfortable place in order today for that, $200 or $300 or $400 set that we customize for them and get them started. But that leaves a whole bunch of product on the table that they didn't buy, right? And I would imagine that there's a very similar pattern in many of your businesses as well, that what you do is you end up showing a product, they don't necessarily go with that package, but they go with another package, but someday down the road, they might want to have the rest of that package, right? So that's why it's so important for us to maintain these client relationships. Everybody see where I'm going with this?
Yes.
So my value add that I can go to with my customers all the time is sharpening their knives, right? But not everybody has a product that lends itself to that constant follow-up and service in a way that's not asking for anything in return, right? So what I do, and the way that I help businesses kind of replicate that relationship that I create with my customers, is I help them do that through the art of a gift, right? Because what we found is that what you appreciate will always, has anybody heard this before? What you appreciate will always appreciate in value, right? So when you give out appreciation, you receive appreciation in return. And so what most companies do is at some point they go, we really ought to do something to say thank you to our clients. What can we do that everybody would enjoy, that we know is a safe gift? And usually it's going to be food, right? Or it's going to be a gift card. And that's usually how people, or an experience of some kind, right? And what happens is those things are great at showing appreciation, but they only do one of the 2 things that a great gift should do. A great gift should do 2 things, and you should write this down. A great gift should do 2 things. The first thing is it should be a sincere expression of gratitude. And I'll give you an example of what's not a sincere expression of gratitude here in a minute. But the second thing it should be a lasting reminder of your service. If it's a business relationship, once I come out and sharpen somebody's knives, they can't use their knives without thinking about me, right? A lasting reminder of your service. Because I know every person in this room well enough to know that you give outstanding service to your clients. I know that you value the relationship, and I know that you want to have that kind of a relationship with them. So if you give them a gift that's constantly reminding them of you, then that new car smell, that new feeling of the relationship doesn't wear off like it does if you just give them a bottle of wine and they love it, they drink it, and it's gone, right? You guys see the difference here? So what we want to do is find gifts that are, we want to look for 3 things when we're buying a gift. The first thing is it should be durable and useful. Durable means it's going to last a long time, right? It won't be gone overnight. And then if it's useful, that means it's used often, right? So if I give you, for example, I happen to know somebody loves to garden, I give them garden tools, right? Well, that's a great gift because it's directly to them, but if I'm looking for something useful, that's only useful about how many months out of the year? Maybe 6?
Not in
right?
Ohio.
Huh?
Maybe 1.
Right. So what I'm doing is I'm giving them a gift that they'll definitely appreciate, and they'll remember me once a year when they use those gifts, right?
Right.
You guys see where I'm going with this? But if I give them a gift that centers on the kitchen, that's something that's going to be used every single day in the house, in the room where company gathers. Because when company comes over, where's the first place you all always go? You go to the kitchen, right? So I always say I don't sell Cutco knives to businesses. I sell magic business cards to businesses. Because if you had a business card that would get taken out every single day, get looked at, get appreciated, like, man, I'm so glad I so glad that Jason gave me this business card. Like, this is awesome. I love it. Like, can you imagine, right? And then not only that, I'm like, oh, company's coming over. I better get things ready here. For I'm gonna put this out on the counter so that we can use it while my company's over. That doesn't make any sense, but it does if it's a Cutco knife, right? So I don't sell Cutco knives. What we do is we engrave the Cutco product with a logo, name, and phone number. And I'll go ahead and pass this around. Now, please don't touch the edge, especially you guys, because it's always the guys who touch the edge. You know? But I promise they're super sharp. And I didn't bring any Band-Aids with me today. So
I know first aid.
So by engraving it with the logo, name, and phone number, we do a few things for any business that gives this out to their clients. The first thing it does is it's that useful gift, right? And it's durable. It's got the forever guarantee. So there's nothing that I know of that lasts longer than Cutco. I have one customer who has had her Cutco since 1955.
Oh boy.
And when I talked to her, I said, what else do you still have from 1955? And she said, my sewing machine. That's it. They don't make them like they used to, do they? So those old Singer sewing machines would go forever, right? But since 1955, she's got two things left. She's got her sewing machine, and she's got her Cutco knives. And by the way, how often do you use the sewing machine? Not every day, right? Occasionally. And how often do you use knives? Every single day, right?
Yes.
So it's durable, it's useful. By branding it and branding it tastefully, what we do is two things. It creates top mind awareness, but it also gives you a tax advantage. Because when you brand something tastefully, right? What do I mean by tastefully? Well, it has more to do with the product than it does with the branding itself. If I were to give Heather a hat that said "Buy knives from Kevin," right? And I give her that and say, "Here, I want you to know how much I appreciate you. Here's a gift." This says "Buy knives from Kevin." Who's that gift really about?
Kevin.
It's about Kevin. It's not about Heather, right? What I'm saying is, please advertise with me and have fun on your trip to Goodwill when you drop this off, right? That's what it really is. I'm asking her to basically advertise for me, right? But she's probably not going to wear it, and it's going to get thrown in Goodwill, and she's never going to have any interest in that, and it's not going to do anything to build any kind of goodwill, right? So that's branding untastefully, right? Tastefully brand. If something's tastefully branded, it should not affect the durability, the usefulness, or the enjoyment of the product. And as you can see as I pass those around, none of those things are affected by the engraving on the Cutco knives, right? You can use those every single day, never really care that there's a business name on that. They're gonna see it all the time, and they're gonna enjoy it and appreciate it all the time. So it doesn't affect the durability or the usefulness of the product or the enjoyment. And then the third thing you want to look for is, so you need something durable and useful, you can brand tastefully, and then the third thing that you want to look for in a gift is something that can be a system in place. Because as far as I know, I'm the only guy in this room that gets paid to shop for gifts for people, right? Because that's something you can spend a lot of time, especially if you're one of those people who wants to get everything, if you're a little bit of a perfectionist, and you go out and you're like, okay, I want to get just the right thing for this client. How long could that take, right? How many times have we spent extra time shopping for friends and family at Christmas time because we just want to find just the right product, right? Well, if you have a system in place, you have a gift that's on hand, that's ready to go. I have this little rhyme. You grab one and go. They come with a bow, and when you run low, you just let me know, right? And it helps your cash flow. Because, you guys didn't know that last part was coming, did you? A little bonus there. But the idea is what we do is we get a 6-month supply of gifts for your business, and then we bill you over 6 months. So that way your cash flow works evenly with as you're giving the products out. So, so what you want to do is look for a gift that is durable and useful, can be tastefully branded. You want something that will also be a system in place that you don't have to shop around for your clients. So, as far as our pricing goes, oh, and by the way, as far as the tax advantage, I mentioned that, but then I didn't go into why. So who knows what you can legally write off as a gift for your clients according to the IRS? Anybody know?
Staying durable and useful.
What dollar amount can you legally write off? Anybody know? $25.
Wow.
That's it, per client per year, okay? So at the end of the year, if I've bought, $30 gift cards for all my clients, I can only write off $25 of that, right? And the reason, that law hasn't changed since, I think the 80s is when they came with that $25 rule, and it's been the same ever since. I think it's kind of ridiculous, but when I engrave something, I don't write it off as a gift anymore. What do I write it off as? Marketing, advertising, right. So now if the IRS asks, it's advertising. If my client asks, it's a gift, right? And so that's how that works. Any questions about, yes?
I have a question. So that you sent around with the scissors and the spreader,
Yes.
if you want to partner with someone, if
Uh-huh.
there's two people involved in giving the gift,
Yep.
can you engrave two separate?
Yep, absolutely.
Or could you put two engravings on an engraving on each side?
It would be more cost efficient, and we already have a program in place for example, realtors and lenders, right? We have lenders that buy the spreaders and realtors that buy the shears, and then we get the boxes for them and they put them together. So, and then what happens is that way it's a gift that it gives more of a wow factor up front. It comes from both. It double brands them. They both get the write-off. Everybody wins. It's a beautiful thing. And it also creates just that feeling of this was a really cohesive transaction of my realtor and my lender or a team, and they feel really good about that. So they know exactly who to come back to next time. Yes?
Okay, so if we buy gifts for our clients and give them as gifts, how do you know who to call to go sharpen those?
That is a great question. So over the years, we've had to get more efficient with how we sharpen knives, right? So we have actually created a service event program. I had one here last Wednesday where my clients can bring their knives in and have them sharpened, right? Well, we've put a little twist on that to help out our business gift clients. So instead of having a service event here where I bring my clients in and have them get their knives sharpened and I sell to them, we just have it at your office. We do a big, nice client appreciation party. And by the way, bring that gift that I gave you because I got the guy here. He's going to sharpen it for free. No strings attached. Of course, if they come in and say, hey, I want more of this stuff, we're going to sell it to them, right? But here's the thing is that I'm not out to sell to your clients. I would much rather sell you an entire set over the next 10 years that you give to your clients than try to sell to your clients and take a chance of messing up your relationship with them, right? Because it's a whole lot more profitable for me to help you give gifts to all your clients than it is for me to try to sell to one of yours, right? So that's always the question that a lot of businesses have is, are you gonna try to sell to my clients? Are you gonna reach out? And the natural thought is, well, that's a great angle to work, but that's front end thinking. It's not back end thinking. If you focus on the front end, you lose. If I focus on the front end and I just try to sell that client, and somehow I inadvertently, again, make them feel uncomfortable or pressured, then all of a sudden, now that reflects on the relationship with you, and now you're not going to buy gifts from me anymore, right? So that's why we're very, very careful about that. And when we do service events for your clients, it is all about making you look like a rock star.
And you can engrave other things besides a logo too, like if it's a gift for like a family member.
Absolutely. We have a lot of employers that have seen the value in showing extra appreciation to their employees. I mean, when you think about it, this is a gift that's going to get used about 300 times a year, right? So anytime you want to enhance a relationship, you can give this gift, and this is something that's going to be, it's going to be appreciated, it's going to be used. And what's great is that it's more appreciated 6 years from now than it is today, right? So we have a lot of businesses that give them to their employees, and they don't usually put their logo. What they usually do is put the employees' names on, made especially for the Esposito family.